did mention that she liked Nelson.
I'm a girl's girl. Like, no matter what happened between me, Nelson, and whoever I will blame will be Nelson. Nelson. And when you got evicted, I was happy. Sorry. She said at that point in time, it felt like she never really liked Frodd.
This boy don't drop me for one pot of soup where I'm not supposed to take inside.
Everyone except me. But you weren't in the house.
Did you say it to me?
You weren't in the house.
Did you say it to me?
You weren't in the house.
Hey guys, welcome back to yet another exciting video from Deb. Today's video is the review of what went down on the 10 of Big Brother Nigeria reunion show, popularly known as BBNAIJA reunion show. Of Pepper Them sets, without further ado, let's dive right into it. Today's episode was a continuation of yesterday, where it is all about the girls. It started with female housemates such as Mercy, Tacha, Venita, Thelma, Esther, Ella, and Diane. Ebuka starts off with Esther and asking her about her friendship with Mercy and Diane, and also about the clip that was played for Esther during her post-eviction, where she had seen Mercy and Diane gossiping or discussing something about her. She said she felt off about it because she thought they were all friends, and if they had issues with her, they could have related it to her. She agreed she can be defensive at times, but she appreciates when people come up to talk to her about things and so that they can settle and trash things out. She said after the show they are still cool, that maybe not as cool as they ought to, but they are still cool with each other. Mercy talked about how Esther is the kind of girl that leaves her friends aside once she is with a man, and Esther did it twice in the case of Nelson and Frodd. Mercy also talked about how Diane had said she liked Nelson, but still Esther got herself involved with Nelson. Like, guys, do you think there's a girl code here? Let me know in the comment section if you think Esther broke girl's code. When Nelson left, she was back to being friends with them, and also when Frodd came into the picture again, Esther had gone again with Frodd. Esther then explains herself, saying yes, Diane had said she liked Nelson, but Nelson was the only guy she was cool with, and they always talk, and they usually spend time. So she and Nelson, they did spend most time together because she felt she was imposing on the friendship between Mercy and Diane. So she was always with Nelson most of the time, and they started spending time, and due to the time they spent together, she started liking him, or they started kicking off with whatever happened between them. Ebuka then asks Diane about her take on the matter. Diane goes to say she's a girl's, and regardless of what has happened between Nelson, Esther, and herself, she won't blame Esther, but she would always blame Nelson. She would always blame the guys because these are two friends. Like, he should have, he's the one to be held responsible, which at this point I'm like, I understand you're a girls, but let's call bullshit. You all have responsibility to take in whatever happened. Esther also had that Nelson never said he liked Diane, and if he had said so, she would have backed down. But several over times when they had discussed, Nelson never said he liked. Instead, Nelson was always saying the person he liked was outside the house, or the person had left, but he never brought up Diane's name. So she went for it. Mercy also interjects, asking Esther if she was aware that Diane liked Nelson, and if so, but why did she then go ahead with Nelson when she knew Diane liked Nelson? Ebuka then asked Esther if she felt she betrayed Diane with what she did, and Esther said no, she disagrees on that. She didn't feel she betrayed she betrayed Diane in any way. Diane maintains the same level that she isn't angry with Esther, but she is angry with Nelson, and she blames Nelson for everything, and that she was so excited and happy when Nelson finally got evicted, that the fact that she was always seeing Esther and Nelson always together, playing all of that it was as if she was being stabbed in her heart, and that the day he finally left, she was so happy, even though it was sad because Esther was crying, but she was so happy that it had all come to an end. Ebuka then moves the discussion from Esther and Nelson to Esther and Frodd. Diane said that she felt, Esther Esther didn't like Frodd and all, and that she got the impression from Esther herself that Esther had told her before that she didn't like Frodd, and all of a sudden she started saying that Esther was moving moving mad with moving fast and mad with Frodd. So she just felt it wasn't genuine. Then Jackie also contributed to the matter that she felt Esther never liked Frodd, as Frodd was very intentional, like he was very deliberate and he was outspoken about what he wanted from Esther, but Esther kept always going back to Nelson, and when Nelson left, then she switched to Frodd when she realized that Frodd was then the head of house, and that Jackie had a convo with Frodd. Jackie said she had a conversation with Frodd that he was disgracing the Igbo brother, as Esther vehemently refused him over and over, and that he should just take his no and move on like the other girls in the house that Frodd could go for. When Venita was also asked about the situation, she said she didn't really know Esther, as Esther was this person that was really guarded of herself and all, but she did feel that Esther was using Frodd until she saw but she didn't feel that Esther was using Frodd until she saw the day that they kissed on the stage, which was I think during one fashion show and all, and that they had kissed and all. Then Esther goes on to clear the matter, saying, "Oh no, the kiss was not from her; it was Frodd that kissed her." And then they play the clip, and in the clip, I'm like, "Sister, we can see you are the one that kissed him." Then she said, "Oh yes, that they had agreed and discussed about it was for the group work and all of that, that he had requested for the kiss and all, it was part of their group work." I said, okay. Anyways, Frodd is not yet to deny or affirm to that, so we are just going to keep it moving. Venita then goes to say that she was only really upset with Frodd when he made it seem like she was interested in him, and it really took her by surprise, because she remembered that the night before she had told Frodd that he should reduce the way he was always being physical with her, because she had somebody that was outside the house which was important to her. And then by the next day, when she saw that Frodd and Esther were back together, she had only asked Frodd if he had taking time to reflect as to why Esther was all of a sudden wanted him and all up in his business. But then Frodd switched it up on her and started saying Venita liked him and Venita wanted him. She was really shocked about that. Ebuka then asked Esther what's changed and why she began liking Frodd. And Esther replied saying that because she started spending time with him, and Frodd was actually a funny person. So that was actually, yeah, I don't actually believe that, because we knew how many weeks this guy was on your case. You never took time to spend time with him or know him. You did not know it was funny all along until when. So yeah, that was really fishy, but that was our explanation. So who are we to argue with that? The panel then changed with Ella and Thelma gone and the introduction of Enki and Cindy. Ebuka then begins a game of questioning where he reads out questions and the housemates write their answer on their whiteboard. The first question Ebuka asked was, "Who do you trust the least?" Cindy wrote Esther, Jackie wrote every lady except for Enki and Venita. This girl, but we move. The second question was, who was the toughest to get along with while in the house. Mercy wrote that she is a very social butterfly, and so she got along with everyone, even though Ebuka did not accept that as an answer. But for Diane wrote that Venita was the toughest for her to get was the toughest for her, because at the initial stage she had issues getting along with Venita. Cindy also wrote that she wrote Esther again, saying she didn't get along with Esther, then proceeded to also add Tacha to the list, that Tacha had a huge wall that she built around herself, so she didn't really have she didn't really have good times with Tacha. Venita also wrote Tacha, but included she didn't try getting to know her. Then Venita explained that certain things were triggering to her, and she didn't want a relationship with someone who feels that they can talk to her anyhow when they are mad. So she really just, didn't bother trying to get to know Tacha. Tacha also wrote Ella, saying that it was because Ella was really hard to understand, that perhaps if Ella spent more time in the house, she would have gotten to understand Ella, but Ella was one of the housemates she had, she felt was the toughest to her. NK wrote Esther. And yeah, then the third Ebuka then moved to the third question. The third question was who liked food more, and majority of the housemate, of the female housemate, wrote down Cindy. At least this is the one that we can see that all of them all agree on one thing or agree on the same thing, and they wrote that it was Cindy. And of course, if you did watch the show, you know that yes, Cindy was the most female that did it. Even though some people mentioned Esther, but yeah, Cindy wins it for this level. She wins it for this. The fourth question was who gossiped the most in among the housemates, among the female housemates. Tasha wrote that everybody gossiped except herself, and that she never talked about anybody at the back of them and all. But Venita interjects and says and asks if she was so sure that she didn't gossip and all, because she can recall when Tasha said something about her and it was actually picked on camera. And Tasha was like, yes, you were not in the house when I admit that's a statement. But Venita still insists that I was in the house, so I was not in the house. You still made that statement, and then they went off at each other with you were not in the house when I said that. And Venita was like, boy, you said that. Tasha is like, no, you were not in the house. But Venita was like, okay, I was in the house for 6 weeks, but you never said it to my face during the time I was in the house for 6 weeks. So why was it when I left you decided to say that and all? And Tasha is still insisting that you were not in the house as at the time I said it. And these people went back and forth with, you were not in the house, I stayed for 6 weeks, you were not in the house. It just went on for minutes. And at the end of it, Ebuka brought the episodes to a close, and that was it, guys. Like, that was a wrap. That's how Ebuka wrapped this up. And in same light also, I'll be wrapping this video up. But before you go, please remember to engage me on the comment section. Let me know what you think about this episode. What are your thoughts about this episode? Let me know in the comment section. Please also remember to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you for watching. To my next video, stay blessed.